when you distract yourself and you're constantly being distracted and you're jumping from task to task to task, it's like putting your brain on that sports mode in your car. It's going to burn your fuel and energy quick. And if you burn your fuel and energy, you can't go anywhere. You run out of fuel. Or hi everyone, so I'm going to do a quick little video about how property investors can reduce overwhelm, and it's not probably what you're going to think it is. It's a simple little trick, and I'm not saying it'll disappear forever, not completely go, but this will help dramatically reduce it. But it probably will seem counterintuitive for your progression. So I'm Harvey, I'm a remote property investor, and studying overwhelm and mindset has been a massive part of my life because I've burnt myself out 3 times dramatically, and I'll probably make that sound a little bit less dramatical than it actually was, but I had 3 major burnouts, well 2 really major ones and 1 tinkering on that burnout again. But so understanding your mindset, getting a really clear mind really is massive on your level of performance. So you really want to get yourself to a peak performance really. If you want to achieve the best you can, you want to get yourself to a peak performance. And one of the things that comes hand in hand with property at the moment, or in anything, most things in life that you'll want to get into, because of the bombard, like the barrage of content that comes towards you, and this trick leads in with that. So the barrage of content that comes towards you all the time is constantly leave our mind switched on. So the world's different. We're 24/7 switched on. Before, back in the day, maybe 20-30 years ago, you used to go to work, used to come home, and that was it, that was over. But now, because you people using social media, emails, WhatsApp, everybody's constantly tuned in and switched on. So this little trick is massively helping to reduce that. And to be fair, the more you reduce your overwhelm, the more you let your brain recover, the more productive you are anyway. So most people think they've got to work as many hours as possible, when it unfortunately is not true, you know. So not unfortunately, but it's not true. Different people have got different set points of how much work they can do. So some people could work 80-hour weeks and crack on with that. Some people can only work 40-hour weeks, but they've worked out the average person can only work, this is scientifically, is any more than 50 hours and you start getting a diminishing of return, a point of diminishing return, sorry. And that point of diminishing returns is not just on up to the 50 hours. If you consistently do over 50 hours, this is the average person. Some person's threshold point might be 60, some might be 40, some might be 30, but the average is 50. So you want to find out where yours is. And if you consistently do that, not only is the hours beyond the 50 diminishing, also the hours up to that. So you can't concentrate as well. You're not as focused as well. You're not as sharp. You're not getting as much done. So this little trick, I've hung you out here, but I probably should have mentioned at the start, is just very simple. So you go into your phones, you go into Daniel, who went through my coaching program a little while ago, done a brilliant example of this on his video. So you go on a live video, was it live? Well, it's a video anyway, he posted this. You go into your phone, you turn off all of your notifications. And I know that probably sounds scary and it probably sounds counterintuitive of how am I going to be more productive and how am I going to reduce overwhelm by that? But seriously, the fact that you're not getting pinged every 2 minutes and distracted, and your mind. So our brain is it uses about 25 to 30% of the energy we produce. So we eat food, it turns into glucose, blah blah blah, and it produces energy. So our food is like petrol, so we put it in. So if you think about it as a car, if you put your car on sports mode, it burns petrol really quick. So you've got to think about your mind and brain mindset is when you distract yourself and you're constantly being distracted and you're jumping from task to task to task, it's like putting your brain on that sports mode in your car. It's going to burn your fuel and energy quick. And if you burn your fuel and energy, you can't go anywhere. You run out of fuel. Or at bare minimum, if you're looking at the car analogy, if you look in your car and you've got, like I've got a BMW at the moment, it gives you the fuel efficiency thing at the moment, but most of them will tell you where your fuel efficiency is. At bare minimum, you will have, like, if you keep on switching from task to task to task, keep on getting distracted, pings, Facebook, WhatsApp, all these different pings, what happens is you have to, like, without realizing, in your subconscious mind, you take yourself down into like efficiency mode because you're going to run out of fuel. So basically you're getting tired. So you naturally, your body shuts you down into a lower like form of performance to deal with the levels of concentration you've got because you've exhausted it. So turning off all your apps notifications, Messenger, Facebook, email, turn all these off and have your phone, like, I'll put my phone sporadically on do not disturb throughout the day because I do a lot of videos, or when I want to concentrate on something, I put it on do not disturb. I promise you now, if you put it on do not disturb, if somebody rings twice on a row, it'll break the do not disturb. Or you can have it, I think you can make it where it rings 3 times on a row, it breaks it. You can put your favourite people in there, so if your mum or your spouse or somebody important or one of your major team, like your manager or something like that, if you want them to break this do not disturb, you can have that on that, so you can answer to who you want. But I have it so people have to ring a few times on a trot to be able to break it. And generally, if something's really, really important, somebody hangs the phone up, rings, and you just know, okay, this is an important thing, I need to answer this straight away. Other than that, anything that happens can wait. You got to imagine, we've only been living, iPhone's only sort of 10, 11 years, 12 years old now. The iPhone 12's out. So it's 12 years old. We've only been living in this world of instant sort of blueberries, and blackberries was out maybe a few years before that, but we've only been living in this switched on Wi-Fi on our phone, being able to have emails all the time for a very short period of time when you look at the grand scheme of things. So before that, people used to have to like send people a letter in the post and things like that, you know, and people still got by. So you will get by if you don't be overly responsive to your and demanding to your phone. So as I said, what it does is it trains your brain into distraction, and it really depletes all your energy and focus level, which then in turn really increases your overwhelm. Jenny's jumped on. Love to do not disturb feature for sleeping. Yeah, mine's automatically. So obviously my phone, I put my phone on and off from time to time. So automatically from 8 o'clock at night, my phone goes on do not disturb all the way through to 9 o'clock in the morning. And yeah, so, and in the morning, I have my morning routine. So I make sure I do not look at emails, do not look at Facebook, apart from coming on here and doing my live videos, but I do not look in my chats or anything like that. I don't really go through my Facebook feed anyway. I just follow certain people for inspiration on there and keep up to date and use it as a networking tool. I don't really go into the news part of it. But yeah, turning this off will be a massive, massive transformation. I remember when I first come across this, I read a book called Busy. Where is it? This is a fantastic book as well, guys. I read this in Bali. I was doing a training course in Bali and I was overwhelmed. It was a 2-week deep dive training course, and I was massively overwhelmed with it all. Like, just, yeah, the whole thing. I was in Bali, we was training deep dive, so we was from first thing in the morning to the last thing, like the whole day of just training, immersing, entrepreneurial training. It wasn't property, just entrepreneurial training. And I remember I had loads of plates spinning at the time, I had lots of things going on, lots of challenges, lots of points in my business where it was seemed like it was fracturing. And I read this book and it was massively transformational. One of my wife's friends brought me here, funny enough, because obviously you can see how busy I was getting. And it said the little trick in there about to switching all your notifications off on your phone. You can leave your phone on for calls. You might want to leave one form on. Like text ain't a bad one to leave on because not so many people use it. But leave some form of messaging on maybe, but not so many people call anymore. But leave your phone on at some form so people can contact you, but then turn it off in the points where you go into meetings. Like the great thing with Zoom now, if I do Zoom through my, especially from my phone, it automatically puts it on to do not disturb as soon as I go into my Zoom meetings, which is great because yeah, I don't have to think about doing that. But the problem I have sometimes, and you will get a few people get a bit fed up and they can't get through to you, is to remember to take it off to do not disturb once you've finished your, like for instance, when I'm doing videos, live videos, or I'm in meetings, I sometimes forget to take it off. But seriously, the benefits way outweigh the disbenefits. You know, sometimes when I put my phone on do not disturb in the daytime, I miss a calendar notification because I leave my calendar notifications on. So throughout the day, what you want to do as well is set yourself notifications to just check your phone sporadically at certain points. So if it's emails, I check my emails like 2 or 3 times a day, depending on what I've got going on. Like if I've got a property deal going through, I might check it a bit more actively. Or if I know I'm waiting for an email back from a solicitor or something, I'll actively check it. Other than that, I'll probably check it once, maybe twice a day, and then 3 times top if I've got quite a few things like that going on. So set yourself reminders throughout the day to just check it at points. Similar again, I've got a task management thing. I'll check my task management software usually about 1 o'clock-ish, so my team knows I can be available online with like my to-dos and things like that. But I try in the mornings get my other things out of the way before I dive into email task management. How many of you go to bed either looking at social media, looking at emails, and then wake up first thing you do, look at emails or social media again. So many people do this, and this is really switching our minds on into not being able to rest. Even when you sleep, your mind in the background is just processing stuff. And as a result, people's overwhelm is massively going up. The level of overwhelm is exponentially growing. The level of suicide, self-harming, depression, all these things are on the up. And one of the biggest difference we've got today is, yeah, Matthew said he does that last thing at night, first thing in the morning. The biggest difference we've got today, the reason why overwhelm and stress is going up, is the level of content and the way our minds are not resting at the moment. So food's getting worse. So convenience food is getting worse, and Uber Eats and being able to eat convenience food. But the two biggest culprits towards this is food and our phones, you know. So our phone's going to be fantastic. So could Uber Eats be fantastic. Yesterday, my wife got a Nando's, and I had it's grilled chicken, obviously, from Nando's with a bit of hot sauce and broccoli, you know. So that's fantastic. It made it really easy and convenient. It was both busy. It made it easy and convenient. But yeah, the two biggest culprits for overwhelm. But again, used correctly, I say phones are very much like alcohol. If you have a glass of red wine in the evening, it's really good for you. You can unwind, relax. Studies show that people have got longer longevity if they moderately drink, because they relax themselves, and there's the social element of it. But there's a point of diminishing returns with that. If you overdrink, your sleep gets interrupted. Obviously, other problems like your kidneys. So there's points of diminishing return, and very similar to your phone. It's a fantastic tool, a really powerful tool, especially social media. Really, really powerful, but there's a point of diminishing returns. So again, even with your social media, you want to set points in a day where, if you like to scrolling through the feed, I don't particularly, but if you do, set points in a day. Say, right, okay, I've got half hour of doing that, so you don't get lost in there. I don't like going through the feed. I'm not really that interested in it, but anytime I find myself in it, before you know it, I'm in there longer than I anticipated to, because it just sucks you in. So if you put like barriers and restrictions around these things, and said put your phone on do not disturb, so you're not getting disturbed all the time, I guarantee you your overwhelm will massively reduce without a shadow of doubt. As I said, the information overload we're getting today is immense. So structure that. We do want information. Information is great, but structure it in the right way. As I said, Matthew stuck his hand up and said, yeah, he's last thing at night, first thing in the morning. I'm guilty of it sometimes. I don't always get this perfect, you know. But last night, again, I'm doing a training at the moment. It's a 30-day challenge training thing. It's about building out funnels and click funnels, and I'm building a product about my being an investable investor. And as a result, because I'm trying to squeeze my work in, implement the stuff they show me on the training, and there's quite a lot of content to consume. At the moment, I've been sort of 10, 11 o'clock at night still listening to some of this stuff or catching up with some of my other bits. And as a result, my sleep's not being as deep. And as a result, my energy, my focus is not as much there, and my overwhelm is increased a little bit. But I know this is a short period thing, so I'm happy to dive in. I'm very aware of it, and I watch where it's at. I've got 2 watches on, funny enough, to measure my sleep, and I make sure it don't go for too much of a long period of time. But yeah, as a result, I really try to be aware. So you can never get it perfect all the time, but try to at least strive towards that. But turning your notifications off was a massive move. As I said, have a look at this book. Fantastic book. Surprised it ain't bigger than it is. Definitely in my top 20 all-time books. But remember, guys, let me know how you get on with these things. How much sleep do you usually get? I average out about 7 hours. Again, a book by Matthew Walker, fantastic. Why We Sleep. Sleep is so important, and the average of people sleep now. How much do you sleep, Matthew, on average? Most people it's about 6 hours now, and the minimum people should be getting is 7 to 9. We're all different. Some people need 9, some people need 7. A mark of this is if you wake up in the morning and you still don't feel rested, you've not had enough sleep, or you've not had enough quality sleep. So some people can sleep a longer period of time, but you've got to get your quality up, and that's why I wear these watches as well, because I measure my sleep. As soon as I get up, I'm like, what's my sleep pattern been like? I can pretty much tell now. I'm that tuned into it. As soon as I wake up, I pretty much know how much deep sleep I've had, how much REM sleep I've had, how much light sleep I've had. And when I look on there, most days it's pretty accurate. I can just feel it in my head. Like this morning, I could feel in my head. I was listening to stuff and content late last night, catching up with all the stuff that I'm trying to keep on top of, because I'm on this challenge thing at the moment. And as a result, when I woke up this morning, I knew I didn't have much deep sleep. I knew I didn't have much REM sleep. As soon as I looked on there, my light sleep was really like over exaggerated, and straight away, yeah, I can feel it. Matthew said 8 hours. If I get less, I'm a different person. Yeah, so me 7. I like 8, but 7. If I get less than 7, very much the same. I am a very, very different person, especially too many days on a row. I can just get 6.5 hours. If I get 6.5 hours for 3 days on a row, which I've got just over a week ago, wow, I can really feel the overwhelm coming in, the confidence dipping, my anxiety's going up. Like, really see the shift in it, you know. So yes, so important. But guys, hope you found it useful. Let me know what your sleep's like. Let me know if you're going to try it. Matthew, try it. Switch off your phones, put it on do not disturb from night time to the morning, from a set time. Give yourself at least an hour before you go to bed of no phone, and at least an hour after you get up of no phone. But turn your notifications off. Seriously, it's an absolute game changer for your productivity and reducing your overwhelm. So remember, if you don't evolve your ideas and you don't try new things, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas and live on your own terms, and have a fantastic day, everyone.